new video.
Hello guys, how are you?
Continuation. I was gonna make it the same video, but I decided it's better to have two separate videos so that no one gets confused.
Okay.
So, flight modes.
Flight modes. Very important.
What are they? Why do we use them?
I'll let you explain. You're the master in these things.
By the way, you don't know how to fly, right?
I do not know how to fly. I'm just pit crew. I take stuff, I bring stuff. He gets to tell me what to do and what not to do.
Okay, so let's talk about flight modes. What are flight modes? Pretty much on the radio, this is a little bit more advanced video, but on the radio, whenever you fly a plane for the first time, the plane is not going to fly perfectly straight. It's going to want to go right, go left, go up, go down.
Sometimes you might get lucky and
right.
fly straight, you know.
But
off the get-go.
To counteract that, you have trims on your radio. So, on the radio, you have trim controls. So whenever you're flying, you would have your co-pilot, you'll say, hey, I need some up elevator. He'll come and give you a couple of clicks of up elevator. And pretty much...
And the trims are basically the plane, while it's flying, hands off of the control, it stays straight. If it doesn't, the trims is a fine-tuning of the servos where the directional, whether the elevator, the ailerons and so forth, and the rudder, you just move them ever so slightly to counter the behavior that you don't want.
Right.
That's what trim is.
After you got it trimmed,
right,
you're flying it pretty much hands off for a couple seconds. If you're flying a straight level and you let go, I mean not let go like this, but
usually do it at high altitude.
Right. The plane still flies at a straight line, but that's fine for regular planes.
Right.
But now let's say your plane has flaps, and you come time to land or take off or fly slow, and you throw your flaps down. And all of a sudden, when you throw your flaps down, the plane starts to climb or starts to go down. Now you're confused because you're like, hey, I trimmed it so it can fly straight and level, but when I throw my flaps down, I need to trim it again. But if I trim it again, it's going to mess up my regular flying style. So, how do we counteract that? On radios, there's a flap, and the flap setting, there's an elevator mix menu where you can give it a percentage, like 10% down elevator or up elevator. But what I don't like about that is you're guessing.
Right, and nothing worse than guessing while you're flying.
Right, you can't even do it while you're flying. You have to do it on the ground before you even fly.
Right.
So before you fly, be like, hey, I'm gonna guess to put 10% down elevator. Right?
Right.
But now you go and you fly, you're like, no, this is not right. I need more or I need less. So you gotta have to land, fly it, fight it down, come back, adjust it, fly it, do it again, doesn't work, land, adjust it, back and forth,
frustrating to say the least.
Right, because you're guessing. And I don't like guessing. I like doing things right.
Right.
So I set up flight modes on my radio. Now, we have flight modes programmed in the radio. We're flying. Right? Flying normally. Everything's perfect.
And you're done trimming while you're flying normally. Now it's...
The plane is flying perfectly level.
Right. Now we're
going to fly slow.
Correct.
Throw the flaps down. Right. Oh, the plane starts to climb right now. What can I do? I can trim it again. But wait, it's going to mess up my other trim. No, it's not, because you have flight modes.
Right, so what flight mode is, assuming that you're flying slow and have flaps down, you're trimming the flaps when in the half flap position.
Or full flap position.
Or full flap position, whatever flight mode you choose.
And pretty much the radio saves that flight mode, individual flight modes.
Right.
So whenever you toggle between normal flying, half flaps, full flaps, it gives that individual trim profile to each one of those settings.
So after you're trimming on, let's say, flight mode 1, and it's half flaps, you're flying slow, after you trim that, if you put back flaps up and you start flying regular, none of the setting has changed because it hasn't been changed in particular position. Only changed in a half flap or full flap position for that map.
Correct. So, in other words, now you're able to fly regular, half flap, full flap, gear up, gear down, and the plane won't do anything that you weren't expecting.
Right,
because
and
it's
all
trimmed.
different setups. So one does not interfere with the other. So you fly regular, plane flies
regular,
nice and level. You throw all the flaps, the gear down, and so forth. You put in flight mode 2, for example. In that flight mode, it's completely regular. It's trimmed to that position. So anytime you switch between those two, you're flying straight and level.
That pretty much eliminates that guessing factor.
There is no guessing.
No guessing. It's perfect. Because you fly, you adjust it while you're flying. You see it's flying perfect. You're done. You don't need to mess with it ever again.
Just like driving a car, putting it in a gear, for example.
Right.
You know, you put it on drive, it drives smooth. You put it on third gear, it's set up for that third gear environment, and it continues that way.
Let's show how to program flight modes real quick.
Go ahead. How do you do that?
So we're on the DX18. Turn it on. Switch to our Havoc.
Now, flight modes are available in all advanced radios, right?
Yeah, pretty much any computerized radio has flight modes. So, for example, here's our plane profile, right? I want to set up, I already have flight mode set up, but I'm just going to run you through really quick how to do it. I like to turn it off. We need to go into the system setup menu. So you need to hold the scroll wheel down. Okay, so we need to hold the scroll wheel down, turn it on. Now in our system setup, we need to scroll all the way down until it says flight mode setup, F mode setup. Go ahead in our switch, we hit switch 1, and now it's asking us for our switch when you click on it. So you can pick any one of these switches. For example, I want switch D. I have switch D selected. You're good there. Go back to list. Now you gotta go into trim setup. Click on trim setup. And it would say common. We want to change common to flight mode. So I like to do aileron, elevator, and rudder. Throttle, I like to leave it on common. Pretty much common the flight modes don't affect, so no matter what position I have it in, the trim's gonna stay the same. In reality, all I want to be able to have flight modes on is your aileron, elevator, and rudder. So I would go ahead and change common to flight mode, and flight mode. Once I have that selected, go back to list, main screen, and you're done. Whenever I toggle my flap position, if you look at these two trims, you'll notice that's my neutral flap, half flaps, and full flaps. It's kind of hard to see the change because it's so little, but you can see the values are changing. That's pretty much it in terms of flight modes. I think it's something that's very simple to do, yet not a lot of people know about it.
Very valuable, very
valuable.
very extremely easy to set up, extremely useful, extremely safe.
A lot of people ask me, like, how come when I throw my flaps down, I need to trim it and do this or that, and then I need to, no. I just have flight mode set up and I'm good to go. That's it.
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier to
work with.
Take the edge out when you're flying in different environment or different setup on your control surfaces of the plane.
Right. Other than that, I think we covered everything in flight modes.
Yes.
Anything else you want to add, or pretty much it all?
You guys are the best.
And
like and subscribe.
See you on the next video.
Shoot us any questions you want. We'll try to answer them.
Other than that, just have a good one and fly.
Fly safe.
All right. Thanks.
Happy landings.